Hey guys, my name is Jeanette and I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how my husband and I first met. Basically, him and I both worked at a place called Camelback in the Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. And he was the cook and I was the cashier in food and beverage. And I forgot the places that they had there, so I'm sorry. I don't remember all the names, but we worked in, I guess, like the main food, I guess the cafeteria. And being that I'm a shy person as it is, I never really had confidence in approaching a man or a guy or whatever. I just never had the confidence. And I always assumed that as soon as I said something, they were just gonna automatically say no. So I told my friend about my liking of him, and excuse me, and she ended up going to him at the end of our shift that night, and she spoke to him for me and told him that we basically, I basically had a huge crush on him. And again, at the time, I did not know that he was 2 years younger than me, and he was which to me, it didn't matter to me because I just thought he was the cutest thing. And also, I didn't know that I knew he was Asian, but I didn't, I thought he was fully Asian, which, again, I wasn't sure. Because, I mean, he just looked like one of those cute little, I don't know, he just looked like one of those cute little dolls that you wanted to put in your pocket. But yeah, so basically, she went up to him. She told him that I had a crush on him and I would like to get to know him. Little did I know that he had interest in me too. And I didn't realize that he was trying to run after me when I was going to clock out that night. And he basically ran after me, but I was already I think I was already towards the stairwell, and I was already getting ready to leave. So when I saw that he was running after me, I ended up leaving. I zoomed and I left, and he basically stopped on the steps on the stairwell, and he just looked at me and smiled, and I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I was like, I think, but I was like, no, 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 he can't. Again, I wasn't sure, but basically he took interest in me, and I think it was going towards the end of our season at Camelback, and all I remember, because it was kind of 10 years ago. So all I remember is that I was basically looking for him, and I didn't see him, and somebody told me that he got fired, or he ended up getting fired, and I don't remember the reason, but he ended up leaving the job or something. I think he got fired. I'm not sure, but he wasn't there anymore at the job, and I was already towards. It was towards the season was all over, and they were getting ready to transfer over to Camel Beach, and I really wasn't gonna go back to. I wasn't gonna go back to working there. So I ended up leaving the job and finding a new job. And then being that, I thought I would never see him again. So I tried to keep in contact with him, but it was kind of hard because I believe at that time, him and his mom shared a phone. And there were times when I wanted to speak to him, and his mom was on the phone. So he gave me oh my gosh, he gave me his Facebook, and we ended up talking on there, and I told him, I was like, I was the girl who liked you, and I wanted to get to know you, but I wasn't sure if you were interested, and he was telling me that he was interested in me, but, since I ran away, it was just okay. So, being that said, I kind of lost contact with him through Facebook, and I ended up working at a place called Amazon in Gouldsboro, Pennsylvania, and I was there for about 2 years, and then it was funny because I don't know how this even happened, but he ended up coming down from Hazleton's Amazon. He transferred down here, and we were doing exercise, and I remember seeing his face, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that guy looks really familiar. And again, mind you, this was back in 2014. And again, I met him back in 2010. So 4 years later, I guess fate put us together, and he ended up becoming, he was brand new to Amazon, but he was an Amazon associate. So my best friend, she ended up, after I told her the story and everything that happened, and, everything that happened between him and I, she ended up putting him and I together as a partner. And I became his trainer in Tandy. And him and I were talking, and I was telling him, like, do you remember me? I was the girl that kind of liked you, and also I wasn't sure how you felt about me, and, blah, 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 blah. And being that, being that he was kind of like, I don't know who you're talking about, like, who are you? I kind of like was like, oh my gosh, well, forget it. So I kind of left it alone, and, I just moved on from there, but I still was kind of in my own way pursuing him, and he had a feeling, but he was like that type of guy that was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep, I'm gonna keep her in the guessing game, because I know, like, I like her, obviously, and I'm not gonna let her know that I like her. I'm just gonna keep looking dumbfounded and, not, and basically, not let her know that I know it's her. So again, I was still trying to pursue him and be his friend at the same time. And I was talking to my friend about it, and she was just like, if he, if he's giving like these kind of faces, and he's like acting the way he acts, she was just like, leave him alone for a little bit. Maybe he really doesn't remember you, and maybe he's just not really wanting to get into a relationship. Maybe he's in a relationship. Maybe he's married. Who knows? So me, me being the person I am, I feel bad, but sometimes I really do have no filter. And I will literally go up to them. I went up to my husband, well, my husband now, but the guy that I liked at the time, and I told him, I was like, hey, are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have a girlfriend? And he was just like, no, no, no. So, in my head, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Again, that's me. And, I ended up, I just ended up kind of keeping it a little bit friendly but flirtatious, because I was just like, hey, do you want to go to Mount Airy with me? I'll pick you up from your house. You just, let's just hang out. I want to hang out with you. I'm like really wanting to hang out with you. So being that, I told him that, he was just kind of like, no, no, no. So, like a couple of weeks flew by, and all of a sudden, like, we had, it was called, oh my gosh, I forgot what it was called at Amazon. We had some kind of like, I forgot. It was like some kind of like, when people bring in food, I think it was a potluck. There we go. We had a potluck that Saturday night. And again, him and I worked Wednesday through Saturday. And he, he basically was sitting, we always sat together at the table, because I invited him to sit with me and myself, my best friends. And, he was just kind of like that quiet, kind of shy kind of kid, and he just stayed next to me, which I was just like, ah. So yeah. But anyway, so that night after potluck, we were waiting for my friend to clean up everything so her and I can head back to, Scranton. And all of a sudden, like, he came out of nowhere and said, Jeanette, I do know who you are. I was just joking with you this whole time. And I was like, really? So being that, we ended up scheduling kind of like a date to, hang out at the Toby Hannah State Park. And being that he lived in a Pocono country place, and, my mom, lives around that area too. I used to, I stayed with my mom for a little bit, even though I had my own apartment, but I was mostly with my mom a lot. So being that, I ended up driving down, well, I left her house to come to, to meet him at the state park. And we ended up going to the Toby Hanna State Park. And being that we were at the Toby Hanna State Park, I didn't realize, because like I said, I really don't go to parks like that. I love nature, but I don't go to parks. I don't know. And being that we ended up leaving, we ended up leaving our cars, and it was getting really dark because I guess we got there at like 4, and I guess like for them it's like, I guess, dawn. They wanted everything to be closed. So being that it had to be closed before 7, I believe, because it got really dark. And I wasn't, we were just walking around, and, we found like a picnic table. We started talking and, getting to know each other and all this jazz, not realizing that it was dark and it was thundering and lightning outside and it was pouring down raining. We ended up we were like the last people to come out of the park, and it was to the point where I guess like the security guards for the park or the rangers, I guess, they came and like they called my number, and they were just like, "Hi, Jeanette. I'm just calling you to let you know that your car is still here, and there's another car here as well. Do you have that person with you? Is that person present?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Is there anything wrong?" And he was like, "No, but it's already closed." Like, he's like, "I'm sorry, man, but the park's closed, and you and your friend have to leave." So I was just like, okay. I was like, "Daniel, we have to leave," because they're coming to look for us. So they told us, like, he told me to stay where we are, and we'll find, they found us, and they took us in the car, and my husband and I, we held hands, and we went with them to, back to our cars. And he was just like, "Oh my gosh, thank God, we found you," because he was like, "There's bears, all these little, you know, animals around." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." I was like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "I did not mean to, do anything wrong." And he was just like, "No, no, no." He was like, "You guys are fine." But he was like, "I just wanted to make sure you guys were safe." So, he came, he got us, he gave, he just told us, it's just dawn to dusk is when everything is basically closed. So, yeah, so we went to another place called Delaware Water Gap, and him and I ended up, we just ended up staying there and just looking at the stars and getting to know each other. And that day, that at Delaware Water Gap, we became boyfriend and girlfriend. My sister was like, "Where are you? Where are you?" So I texted her back, and I was just like, "Well, I'm with my boyfriend." My sister's like, "Boyfriend?" So, so she was just like, "Oh, you got to tell me all the details." So, like I said, it was like, I think it was like going on 1 a.m. that day. And again, I wasn't expecting to have him as a boyfriend at that time. It just happened so fast. And when we went back to, like when we went back to Amazon Wednesday, I was texting my friend, and I was telling her everything, and, she was giving me pointers because, again, like, I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just like that kind of person. I'm a nervous person. So she was just giving me just, like how to, make him happy and blah, 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 all that stuff that relationships need. So, so I guess like, yeah, so we started dating July of 2014, and then he bought me a ring sometime, I think it was like probably a year later. He bought me actually this ring, which this ring is Tiana from Princess and the Frog. And inside the actual engravement, it says, "Almost there." And I'm almost there, excuse me. And I'm almost there. Because, again, Tiana is one of my favorite Disney princesses. And I was telling him, when do you want to get married? And I mean, like, we literally, like, we rushed the whole thing, but it was just like, I knew he was the one, and I knew I wanted to settle down with him and to have kids and, grow old, all that jazz. And I was really, really happy because, like, I wasn't, like I said, I really thought that he didn't know me or he didn't like me, all of that. I just thought, I thought wrong. But, again, flash forward to 2016. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. 2015. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, so flash forward to 2015. My husband and I got married March 20th of, oh my gosh, I'm like totally bad. We got married March 21st or 20th or 21st of 2015, and we had our first daughter in January of 2016. And then we had our second daughter in January of 2018. I mean, excuse not January, in August of 2018. And we've been together for, I think, yeah, we've been together for 6 years. Yeah. And we've been married for 5 years. And I love my husband to death. And being that we're in an interracial marriage, being, he's half Korean and half white, and I'm black, Hispanic, and mixed with others. But you know being that we're in an interracial marriage, it's quite hard because I get people that look at me like, why is he with her? Or like, what's the whole point of them being together? They don't even, they don't look good together, and blah blah blah. And like I said, I get my times when all I want to do is just run in the house and cry, because I'm like, you don't know me. You can't sit here and judge me because you think that, I don't know, you think that I'm ugly or something. Like I said, personally for me, it's been a lot challenging, but I'm that type of person. I'm ready for the challenge, because this is somebody that, like, I could never, I mean, I can't see myself without him. As much as, he gets my nerves and I want to kick him in the butt, don't we all? It's just that, like I said, like, he's somebody that's very special to me. And again, like, being that he's also the father of my kids, and he's a darn good father, I totally am, I'm so happy for him. Like, I'm so happy with him. And I love him, and I'm blessed to have him in my life, and I'm blessed that we were able to, have a chance together and actually find each other again. And like I said, it's, my kids are going on 3 and 2. Well, my oldest is 3 already, and my youngest is going to turn 2 in August. And I mean, they can't I can't have I can't I'm like I just I'm sorry. I just love being with him. I just love the fact that I was able to, have beautiful get be blessed with beautiful kids. And just the fact that, like, they're like, just to see, how happy, like, we all are and everything. And I mean, like I said, I can't thank God enough. I mean, I'm really truly happy with him. And it's tough and everything, but he's literally my rock. And without him, I mean, I don't even know what I would do. Because he's so smart, because he's the kind of guy that, like, he has his, like, little dorky moments and everything. But I love that. I mean, I love it. And the fact that he never really sits there and like, bothers me with some stuff. Like, yeah, he, some things he does, but, like, a lot of the time, like, he just kind of, like, is like, whatever. Like, the fact that we gave each other a chance is something that I can't explain. And I'm just really blessed to have him. And I'm happy that he's my soulmate. And basically that's all that about how my husband and I met. And I'm so happy. And I can't wait for what's gonna happen 2 years, 5 years down the line from now. And Thank you for watching, and please like, comment, and share. Subscribe. You know, thank you again.